we're ready to go. Supersport 600, great start there from McKinley Kyle Paz. He's pulled up alongside our pole man already as they make their way down to turn one, and he did it all with his front wheel in the air. But he'll have to slot into third position as they make their way through turn one for this first time, and it is the pole man, Cyrus Asman, that leads them out of turn one and up the long straight through the kink at turn two towards turn three for the first time. Both of the Yamahas are well placed.
Yeah, breathtaking start there for most of this field. And look at Adinanta Putra coming up through to challenge for the lead. First time up into turn three from row three.
Wow, what a start. What a great drive out of turn two and all the way up through the long section of that circuit. It is bike number 31, Tanat Longplio, the local rider that momentarily held the lead, but blasting up the inside, it was Helmi Asman on 32. He's run wide though on the exit of turn four, and he's got to slip back to about fourth position. No, he tries to go around the outside. Oh, there's not a lot of room on the way out there. Nearly came in contact with that, I'm not sure if that was Casma Daniel or McKinley Kyle Paz, but he just literally rode around the outside of him through turn 5 and 6.
Yeah, Helmi Asman held on well as Anupab tried to challenge him for P3.
An extremely hectic start, Barry, you have to say, for this first lap.
Yeah, I think I'm doing about 120 BPM at the moment, so goodness knows what these guys are doing. And Adinanta Putra is through to the front already.
But how was the slide through turns 9 and 10 there? All the legs come out as we go hard on the brakes into turn 12, and it is Tanat Longplio, the local rider. Oh! Almost off the track and almost off the bike. They blast down the start-finish straight for the first time at full noise. And then going into turn one, it is the local man, Tanat, that leads on board bike number 31. We've got a trio of Hondas at the front, the two Yamahas in fourth and fifth position.
What a race this is shaping up to be, Phil. That first lap was like a last lap.
It was, and look at the group behind, they haven't dropped anyone off. There was smoke coming off someone's foot there that they had it down that long on the brakes into turn three. One of the Yamahas has moved forward. I think you'll find that that's Anupab on board bike number 500.
Yeah, he's feeling confident and aggressive today.
He's going to go for the lead here into turn four. And it is the 500 machine of Anupab Samoon that takes the lead. Helmi Asman up into a second. That fluoro yellow number of Helmi Asman stands out in amongst all of the bikes there, jostling for position as they come through turn 5 and 6.
So the first time we've seen him lead a race this weekend. Anupab Samoon for Yamaha Racing Thailand. Helmi Asman's behind him on the Honda, and the Honda Racing Thailand machine of Tanat is behind him, and Casma Daniel is behind him. So much quality in this field. And let's see how this is who we're looking for. McKinley Kyle Paz. How he's doing. He's some way back. 63 is your pole starter. He's down in 6th place, and down goes, I think that's for Rosie Toricatula, has just gone down, and he's taken Reza Danica Arens with him.
Yep, and you can see Reza Danica Arens just walking away with a dejected look on his face.
So there goes Ferozi. Didn't see who, I caught that late, I didn't see who was responsible for that, if anybody. Now we'll find out.
You can see there as they all came into, oh no, actually I think they missed it. That was, that's at turn 12. That's the final corner.
It was a turn 12 tangle for sure. Didn't see how that happened. Let's call it a racing incident for now. So 1 out of 3 Astra Hondas is down, and I noticed that Adinanta Putra had slipped back in the order as we got to the end of that lap. Let's catch up with it now as they marshals as quick as ever, get the bikes clear of trouble.
It's still Anupab Samoon on board bike number 500 that leads. You can see there, and he's got the 27 machine of Casmal Daniel Kaisermun right back there in second position.
And Adinanta has got himself back up into third. He's really enjoying himself this weekend. Yesterday's race winner.
Oh, did you see that?
I think he probably enjoyed that too.
The change of direction, bike just a little bit out of control, how he managed to gather it up and still maintain his momentum. There you go. There's Casper Daniel up into the lead. Oh, one of the is that one of the Hondas? I don't know if there's that an Astra Honda that's run
an
wide at the
Astra
final
Honda,
corner.
yeah. Let's see who that is. It's not Adenanta. He's still on board.
He's up into third place, so it is now the two Yamahas that lead. And it's certainly not the 32 machine of Helmi Asman. You can see him in there as well.
Yeah, that would have been Hergen that went off then.
Saifuddin Asman was in fourth place as they came up the straight. He's still there. He's gone down. He's gone down on the entry into turn 3. We were just talking about him. Saifuddin Asman on board bike number 63 has crashed out.
Yeah, that is Sharafuddin Asman.
So a few crashes over the last lap or so.
Yeah, the graphic is correct now. There he goes.
He may have been blaming himself for that crash. You can see there, he's just hard on the brakes into the corner. Maybe just held onto the front brake a fraction too long as he tried to tip the machine in. And the front end just cried enough, and he unfortunately went down. Yeah,
he knows what he's done. Blamed himself for it. Well, what a weekend he's had. Pole position, drama-packed races, lessons learned. But it's Casper Daniel at the front for Indonesia. From Malaysia, he's got Indonesia's Adenanta Putra behind him. He's got Thailand's Anupab behind him. And then it's Helmi Asman, always there, the number 32.
Well, Anupab's been pretty consistent in his place in that front group for the race so far as well, as we come round to complete 4 laps. So that's 1/3 race distance. Fastest lap of the race, McKinley Kyle Paz on that lap with a 1:39.834.
He's by no means out of it. He's currently in 6th place.
But he's only 1.4 seconds behind our race leader, who has about a half-second gap over the rest of the field. That's Anupab running wide.
Yeah.
He's just had 2nd place pickpocketed from him.
It wasn't a mistake like yesterday, but he did lose his drive there. Wayne Groho, yesterday's 3rd place finisher, is behind these two. But there's plenty of investigations going on in race control.
That was Farazi Terakatula and Riza Danica Arens, I think it was, that incident, wasn't it, Barry?
Yeah, we didn't see it on camera, so the race control will have done. But the question is now, will Casper Daniel be able to escape from the rest of this field?
Did you see the bike attitude there also too from Adenanta Putra? He is really pushing on, trying to keep the pace that is being run at the moment by Casper Daniel out front on board his Yamaha.
Yeah, and the riders behind are going to be looking at it. I'm not sure whether Adenanta is holding up Anupab. He may be. Anupab is going to try and get past him as they come down to turn 12 and give chase to the Malaysian Yamaha in front of him.
Well, what made that a whole lot easier there for Anupab was the fact that Adenanta Putra had a massive moment and lost a fair bit of drive as he came out of turn 11. You can see the bike tank slap him once again. So he's having a bit of a problem with quick changes of direction on that machine. That's the 2nd time it's caught him out in this race. They're trying to repair the 63 machine of Saifuddin Asman. He's back in the pits though, sitting down.
Yeah, 7 laps remaining. Helmi Asman's still there. Don't count him out.
So also too, McKinley Kyle Paz just sitting there still in 6th position. You can see him there, the 5th rider in that group of 5 from 2nd to back to 6th.
Yeah, at the front it's a 1 second advantage for Casper Daniel.
The psychological 1 second barrier. That's when the riders behind just sort of think maybe is he getting too far ahead to try and catch up. And Anupab certainly hasn't given up hope as he gets the run through these corners and tries to reel back in.
Yeah, he was keen to get Adenanta behind him so he could give chase, but will he be able to make an impression? And it's by no means certain because Adenanta is all over him as... Is that Kyle that's just gone wide? Yes, it is.
Yes, it is. That's the end of his race. That maybe looks like a mechanical problem for him too because he's not trying to get back on track. You can see there that he's got some problem with the machine. So it's not going to be a great second day for the Hong Leong Yamaha racing team like it was yesterday for McKinley Kyle Paz. The good news is, though, that there is a Yamaha out front and doing a great job at the moment, and that is bike number 27.
And actually on that lap, Kazma increased his advantage by a tenth. So Anupab not able to close down the Malaysian Hong Leong Yamaha.
Anupab's just actually done his fastest lap of the race, but it was still a tenth of a second slower than the last lap of Kazma Daniel. So our race leader doing a good job here with half race distance complete.
Yeah, Kazma's got a lot of quality. He had a couple of pretty unhappy years on the Yamaha Superbike. Now he's looking a lot happier.
Well, he's on a very competitive machine. Remember, he was running well in yesterday's race too, wasn't he? But unfortunately had a, I think it was a mechanical problem.
Yeah, and eventually gave up and retired late in the race.
So Anupab doing a good job there to try and hold off the charging Hondas from behind. Let's have a look at the gap as they come around to complete this lap. So he's been able to pull back any of the lead from Kazma Daniel on board that Hong Leong Yamaha racing machine. Yamaha Thailand machine trying desperately to reel back in that over 1 second lead that was held by Kazma Daniel at the completion of the last lap.
So we're half race distance now.
From memory, it was the Hondas that had the great pace towards the end of the race in yesterday's one too. So keep your eye also on Helmi Azman and Adinanta Putra. So as they come across the line, let's have a look at the lap times. Fastest lap of his race for Anupab Samoon at 39.7. He was 0.3 of a second faster. The gap is now down to 0.9 of a second. Now 39 as well for Adinata Putra, and also Helmi Azman and Wahyu Negro as well. That group behind is managing to claw back that lead.
Yeah, and Anupab's just gapping Adinanta at the moment. And there goes a very despondent McKinley Kyle Paz. He was really on form this weekend. That wasn't his fault. But his race is done. Desha Kreisler on the left there looking on, two-time Supersport champion.
Right, down we go into turn 4. If anything, Anupab's actually been able to break away from the group behind now. And look at that gap, it's closed down considerably on this lap. So the Yamaha Thailand machine is on an absolute charge now, trying to reel back in the distance that had been opened up by Kazma Daniel on board bike number 27.
Yep, Anupab doesn't need to worry too much about Adinanta behind him. The gap between them looked a bit longer actually a sector or two ago. But let's see as they go across the line. This is really good work from Anupab. You saw his mentor, Desha Kreisler, tap the side of his head in the think, keep your head straight kind of thing, as Helmi Azman moves through into P3. So pushing Adinanta, yesterday's race winner, back to P4. And the gap is down to under 0.7. So as these three, Wayne Groho, Helmi Azman and Adinanta Putra, scrap for the final place on the podium, Anupab is in pursuit of your race leader, Kazma Daniel Kazmayuddin, who's been looking really good on that Hong Leong Yamaha.
Actually, that's 3 laps in a row now that Anupab has actually set his fastest lap of the race. That time he was 0.2 of a second faster than our race leader. The gap as they came across the line was down to 0.6 of a second.
Adinanta got to the front of that chasing group now. Another podium place, and the points that go with it would be very useful for him after yesterday's race win.
The Hondas don't look like they've got an answer for the speed of the 2 Yamahas out front. They've completely lost touch now with Anupab. They're going to be battling amongst themselves, but they've got to be very careful of Wahyu Negro on board bike number 89. He wants to make it an all Yamaha podium.
Helmi again goes through to that 3rd place, but goes out beyond the curbing.
Wahyu was also faster than the 2 Hondas on the last lap as well, Barry. He was in a 39, whereas the Hondas We're in the 40s, so he's at least 0.2 of a second faster.
So could we see a Yamaha lockout on the podium?
And also too, don't discount the local tie rider Tanat Longcliao, because he is closing in as well. You can see him there, and was that Wei who has a look over his shoulder, and he could see how close he was starting to get from behind. So 3 laps to go. The gap at the front is down to half a second. Another fastest lap of his race for Anyapab Samoon. That's 4 laps in a row. He's getting faster and faster. That target is getting closer and closer. And it's just inspiring him on in front of his home crowd here at the Chang International Circuit to try and take the race win for Thailand.
Yeah, he's not far off getting a draft now from Kazma in front of him. Let's see how they go down into turn 4, but Anupab now in touch. And as you said, Phil, Tanat joining the battle for the final podium spot.
Yep, another good result coming up for the Thai rider there. But look at that, just getting faster and faster as he goes on. He's also just looking at the top speeds. He's got a little bit of a top speed advantage over Kazma Daniel as well. It's only a couple of kilometres an hour, but it's certainly helping him. 266, the fastest speed in this race, and that was done by Adinata Putra on board his Honda. He's going to need all of that now as he sees closing in right from behind. It's Helmi Asman on board bike number 32. They're coming to one of the places where acceleration and top speed will be utilised down this straight into turn 12. Completion of this lap, there'll be 2 more laps to go. Here comes Helmi Asman up the inside. Can't quite get the run. Oh no, it was a very close call there between the Yamaha and the Honda. And was that Wahoo Negro was very lucky to try and keep that bike on track. You can see he was using the body language, and it's moving up now into 4th position, or 5th position. Would that be Tanat Longcliao on board bike number 31.
And Anupab takes another 10th out of race leader Kazma Daniel.
You don't need a timing monitor to tell you that that one has closed right down to absolutely nothing now. Look at the Hondas. Oh, Tanat sliding the bike in there. He was just a little bit wide. He couldn't get the bike stopped and turned enough, and he's lost that position now to Wahoo Negro on board bike number 89.
That's a real ding-dong battle between Wahoo and Tanat.
And the top 6 all in the 140s on that last lap. Nothing between their lap times. Only a 1/10 of a second here, 1/10 of a second there.
Anupab was a 10th quicker through sector 1.
How was the tight line there? That was Wahoo just done an amazing job to get that bike in there at turn 4, and then kept a tight line to just virtually ride up the inside of Tanat on board bike number 31.
You can see Anupab last 2 laps has been losing out in sector 2 to Kazma. So this chase is really hard work for the Thai rider.
And you got to say that Kazma's been doing a great job under immense pressure. He knows that the gap is coming down, but he's been keeping consistent. And now it looks like the charge forward has almost stopped, as is that Helmi Asman up the inside on board bike number 32 at turn 12. Final lap is underway, 4.5 kilometres to go, and it is Kazma Daniel that still holds the lead. In fact, he's pulled that lead out. He's just done his fastest lap of the race, Barry, and he's now got a lead out to half a second as they start this last lap. Yeah,
he was faster through sectors 2 and 3, and he's now looking safe, bar any error from the Malaysian. He's got bags of experience, international, Asian experience, Malaysian experience, and I think the battle to watch for now is this one for P3, the final spot on the podium.
Yeah, at the moment currently being led by yesterday's race winner, Adinata Putra. But he's under immense pressure from Helmi Asman on board bike number 32. That gap has opened up again as they came through the second sector there. Kazma Daniel is putting on an absolute performance here on this last lap, one that can't be answered by Anyapab Samoon.
Yeah, Helmi fancies this P3, doesn't he? Adinata wants to keep himself on the podium for both races, that's for sure.
Oh, I thought Helmi was coming up the inside there. Don't discount Wahoo Negro as well on board the 89 machine. Looking very aggressive on this last lap. So that's something coming off a drift on the side of Helmi Asman's machine. You can see something moving around there. There's obviously been a bit of contact with someone.
Now it's advantage Adananta.
Here we go though, into the final corner. It is Casper Daniel that will take the win, but the real excitement is in this battle for the podium. There goes Casper Daniel across the line. Second was Anupap Sarmoon, and getting the run to the flag. It was yesterday's race winner, Helmi Asman, just not quite getting there in the end, and it's Adananta Putra that takes third place, despite the incredible pressure put on by Helmi Asman in the braking markers for the final corner.
Yeah.
Wehu Negro and also Tanat Longpliao round out your top 6. What an exciting race, Barry, but I've got to say, a polished performance from Casper Daniel under considerable pressure.
It was. He's such a good quality rider, and we saw all that quality there. He just kept Anupab under control. He never quite let him get close enough, kept him out of the draft.